What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 94 of the Access to Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. And on today's episode, we're going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 105. Lerone Murphy going one-on-one with Josh Emmett. We also got the return of the PFL for the 2025 season. And on the boxing end, we have a plethora of main events from all over the world. But before we get into any of that, my brother, tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast right now, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Loma Lookboonmee going one-on-one with Istela Nunes. Lookboonmee, 9-3 overall. Fighting out of Thailand, hailing from Thailand, 29 years old. Istela Nunes, 6-5 overall. Repping Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. I'll start on the Nunes side. She was originally scheduled to fight Molly McCann about a week or two back. Ended up having to pull out of that London card. Rescheduled here for this fight night, going one-on-one with Lookboonmee. Nunes currently on a 4-fight losing streak. Really hasn't had that much success in the UFC. Had some unfortunate bad luck along the way. She's a decent striker. She's shown flashes of power, particularly in the Hrgovic fight. I mean, considering Hrgovic probably doesn't really have a chin, but she was able to put her on her ass. The major concern for Istela is the wrestling, is the grappling. She can be taken down. I'm going to be leaning Lookboonmee. She's from Thailand, so I know she's all geared up and down with the Muay Thai. I think she's the better fighter here in this matchup. If this fight stays on the feet, I think it's interesting because Istela's got the better boxing, but Lookboonmee has been evolving her game, mixing in takedowns. And I think that's going to be the key for her in this one in particular. So I'm going to lean Lookboonmee here. I think she's just got more tools when it comes to the striking. She has the grappling upside. And I think she probably gets this one done by decision.
Yeah, Loma Lookboonmee is definitely the lean here. I think she's going to give this girl a lot of problems on the floor. Even though she's a traditional Thai boxer, she's evolved her game so much. The way she took Elise Reed's back and got her in that sub in that fight. I mean, I wouldn't rule out submission in this fight either. I just think Istela Nunes is what she is. She is decent on the feet at best, and that's it. Like, she's not exceptional. I think Loma's gonna have her covered everywhere, to be honest. Loma should be able to finish this girl, because I don't know where Istela's gonna be safe. Give me Lookboonmee. Wouldn't rule out a decision, but I'm gonna lean ITD in this spot. I'm gonna even look at the sub props heading into the fight, see what that looks like, because that might be juicy enough to play. But give me Lookboonmee here for the win.
Next fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Lil Monster Vanessa Demopoulos going one-on-one with the problem child Talita Alencar. Demopoulos, 11-6 overall, fighting out of Vegas, repping Greece, 36 years old. Alencar, 5-1-1 overall, fighting out of Florida, but repping Brazil, 34 years old. I'm on the Demopoulos side here. I think when it comes to the stand-up, she doesn't have the cleanest striking, but, you know, she's got the forward pressure, she's got the volume, and when it gets to the ground, she can have the wrestling here. Demopoulos did get subbed her last fight against a jiu-jitsu player. This is probably the second best jiu-jitsu player she's fought. That being said, I mean, Alencar, I worry about her gas. I don't think she's really that much of a threat on the feet. The only place she really poses any kind of threat is on the ground. But I just think Demopoulos should probably have her covered here, unless she just does some dumb overcommitment kind of thing. Give me Demopoulos here for the win. I just don't trust Alencar. I think she's a little one-dimensional and a little green.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Demopoulos play. I also want to acknowledge that this might be the shortest MMA fight ever in terms of height and stature of the opponents.
Yeah, two small individuals.
Demopoulos is 5'2", Alencar's 5'1". It's literally like an atom weight fight at strawweight, low key. With that said, I think Demopoulos should have her covered, to be frank. Her jiu-jitsu is good enough. I do like fight ends and sub here. I think that's worth a look, because I do think this fight hits the floor more times than not. But in terms of the volume and in terms of the chin and the pressure and the gas, I think Demopoulos has got her covered everywhere. And she's a little bit bigger than her. So not much, but she is bigger than her. I'm going to lean Demopoulos by sub decision here. Not with a high degree of confidence, because I feel like this is women's MMA and anything can happen. But if you're asking me for a lean, it's Demopoulos. I think Demopoulos is probably the rightful side in this fight.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have La Mangosta Victor Henry going one-on-one with Pedro Falcão. Henry, 24-7 overall, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, 37 years old. Falcão, 16-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. On paper, it's This is grappler versus grappler, but if you watch any Victor Henry fight, Victor Henry kind of likes to keep it on the feet. He'll throw a lot of volume. He's got the wrestling. He's, from that Josh Barnett kind of like, what's the wrestling he does? The catch wrestling?
Catch wrestling.
That catch wrestling style. So he's got it there, but he doesn't really go to it as much. Falcão, I mean, listen, he's got power in his hands, but the striking isn't as technical. He is probably going to be the harder hitter of the two individuals here, but where Falcão wants this fight is on the ground. Relentless wrestler, solid cardio, vicious ground and pound. I think Victor Henry, just on the experience alone, is probably the side here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change it up. I'm picking Falcão for the upset. Fuck it. Give me Falcão for the win. I say it probably goes the distance.
Yeah, I'm with you. Your analysis is spot on. I feel like Victor Henry should be the rightful favorite in this fight, but you're not betting Victor Henry at minus money because you have seen him make high-level IQ mistakes in there. I feel like Falcão has all the tools to make this fight very close. His jiu-jitsu's lights out. It's very good. The last guy he fought was just as good of a jiu-jitsu player, but just a little bit of a better striker. That's why, I didn't knock him for losing that fight. He's going to give Victor Henry some problems. I think Victor should be the rightful favorite, but once again, not playing him at minus money. I think this is the dog or pass spot entirely. So give me Falcão for the upset here.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Skeletor, Rhys McKee going one-on-one with Daniel Frunza. McKee, 13-6-1, fighting out of Ireland, repping Ireland, 29 years old. Frunza, I think it's probably Frunza, 9-2 overall, fighting out of Italy, but repping Romania, 30 years old. Interesting fight because on one hand, I do think McKee is probably the more technical striker here. He already has more UFC experience by default, but I think McKee is just overrated. I think he's very hittable. I don't think he has that much power. Frunza, he hits hard. He's definitely going to be the more powerful of the two guys. Frunza can be taken down. I think that's where Rhys McKee should and could exploit this particular matchup. If you like McKee, it's probably by sub. If you like the Frunza side, it's probably going to be by knockout. He's, again, not the most technical striker, but the more powerful striker, and he's a bit of a brawler. He walks forward. He's got decent pressure. I like him personally, but a little too one-dimensional. It's a toss-up fight for me. I'll lean McKee, not with the most confidence, and for a play, I don't really have that much vested interest in it personally, but if anything sticks out, I might dabble a bit.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to take anyone to knock out Rhys McKee because as much as a horrible fighter, as I think he is, I think he's so fucking overhyped. He has a decent chin. He weathers damage really well. He fought Chidi. Chidi put it on him and he didn't go away. But the only guy that stopped him at the UFC level was Khamzat Chimaev. And that's because Khamzat mounted him from behind paws and just wailed on him where he couldn't defend himself. And the ref had to step in. He didn't go unconscious in that fight. For me, I feel like Rhys is he's the dog in this fight if I'm correct, which is, I think, a little insane, to be frank. He has the UFC experience. He has the grappling upside in this fight. I think this is a dog or pass spot if you have any interest in playing this fight. I don't know if I will because I don't trust Rhys McKee. I think he makes decent decisions. I just don't think he's good I don't even think he's a great athlete. He's just big. He's big for the division. Rhys McKee is the lean as a dog play possibly, but not sure I have a ton of interest in betting it.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight, we have the witch, Dione Barbosa going one-on-one with the warrior princess, Diana Belbiţă. Barbosa, 7-3 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. Belbiţă, 15-9 overall, fighting out of Canada, repping Romania, 28 years old. This is a fight where it's probably Barbosa's to lose. I think Barbosa should probably win this one early. Belbiţă, she's very good on the feet, does not have good takedown defense. Barbosa, not that good on the feet, but she does hit hard. She does have the grappling upside here. I do worry about if this fight goes late because Barbosa will slow down and she is low output. Belbiţă, to her credit, she will walk forward. She will throw a ton of volume. But if this fight hits the mat, and I do suspect it will hit the mat, at least in the first 1 or 2 rounds, Barbosa should pack her up. I mean, her jiu-jitsu is lights out. Give me Barbosa by sub. And if this fight probably goes past the second round, a live spot on Belbiţă is probably not terrible.
Yeah, I'm with you there in terms of how to play this fight. If you're going to bet Belbiţă, I think you have to bet alive. I'm not going to pick her even at plus 300 odds. She's so exploitable on the floor. That's where she's lost most of her fights. I also question her commitment to MMA. She's retired 2 or 3 times already and then come back. She's like Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna walk away from the game, but
I mean, you're giving that's a lot of praise using Jay-Z. But
well,
I do get the analogy.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan retired 3 times too, but I'm not gonna say she's Belbiţă. Belbiţă's Jordan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
So, I just feel like, it's when you have someone that has questions like that to the game, and once they start throwing around that retirement word, and then they're going against a girl that I think it's a glaring hole in Belbiţă's game that she can be exploited on the floor. I think you just got to lean Barbosa here. And I think Barbosa gets it done via sub, probably early, rounds 1 or 2. Give me Barbosa by sub here.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have dangerous Davey Grant going one-on-one with Willie Cat, Daniel Santos. Grant, 14-7 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 39 years old. Willie Cat, Daniel Santos is 11-2 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. This is a fight where initially I kind of leaned Willie Cat. I mean, the kid's explosive, hits hard, dynamic striker. But the more I kind of dig into it, I feel like Davey Grant might be a little live. I think he's got the technique to kind of keep Willie Cat on the outside. If he can use the jab, kind of like the way Julio Arce did in their fight, keep him on the outside, frustrate him, beat him up. He's got the tools to pull the upset here. Give me Davey Grant for the upset. I think the old veterans probably got one more in him. I might eat my words here. Santos, again, it's got all the upside in the world and definitely the harder hitter. Probably got the faster hands, but I think Davey Grant could probably frustrate him a little bit in the grappling area and just the overall, just getting out-vetted. So give me Davey Grant for the win here.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I'm with you on this all day, to be frank. I think Davey Grant, he's only going to really have issues with big hitters. Santos is one of those guys, but Santos, I think, can be exploited on the floor a little bit. And I think people sleep on how good Davey Grant's ground game is. He's also going to be the bigger guy in this fight. If he can throw a ton of volume at him, weigh him out a little bit, and then execute takedowns and cage pushing at the right time, I think he can win this fight. The problem with him is that you have to depend on his chin a little bit. And I think his chin is a little weathered.
A little scary, to be honest.
This late in his career. I understand why he's dog money, but I don't think that it should be a little closer in the odds. He's sitting at plus 150 right now. And I'm like, I don't know. For a guy that can exploit the floor in the ground game, I feel like that's a play that you should probably make.
And probably, it's just a more technical and funky striker, in my opinion, as well, in this one.
Yeah, he knows how to fight from the outside very well. Yes, for all those reasons, give me Davey Grant as well for the dog upset here.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have the debuting Louis Gurule, Grim Gurule, going one-on-one with the Jamaican sensation Ode Osbourne. Gurule, perfect, 10-0, fighting out of Inglewood, Colorado, 31 years old. The Jamaican sensation Ode Osbourne, 12-8 overall, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 33 years old. Another interesting fight because Ode Osbourne, a lot of talent. He's got fast hands, he hits hard. He's fought some killers, but hasn't had the greatest success so far in the UFC. I do think the guy is super talented, athletically gifted. He has everything he needs to give, the debuting Gurule problems. Gurule, coming out of Factory X, he's a well-known training partner for Raw Dog. Very slick striking, good boxing, very composed in the octagon. Got a lot of praise from Dana and his Contender Series short notice debut. It's just a toss-up for me. I don't know which way I want to lean here. I kind of want to pick Ode Osbourne here, but I got a feeling Gurule is better than advertised. It's hard for me to make a decision here, so I'm gonna say, probably from a betting perspective, it's dog or pass. Give me Ode here. I think I'm gonna go Ode.
Yeah, for me, I think Ode should have him covered. The problem is that do you trust Ode down the stretch of these fights where he just seems to historically bag fumble his victories? He gasses, he starts making bad decisions because he's tired. I wonder if he's got the bigger dimensions here, actually. He probably does. He's just a guy that has all the tools, but just never seemed to have put it together. This is a fight that he should win. The shots he hit Lazy Boy with and the grappling exchanges he got Lazy Boy into, he would have stopped most of the guys in the division. It's just Lazy Boy operates on like a different spectrum than most people in terms of like wearing damage and things of that nature. I think this is Ode's fight to lose. I'm kind of surprised he's a dog here. I think people are just on the train with fading him. When this fight is this close and he's sitting at plus 180, almost plus 200, I feel like it's definitely a dog or pass spot. Give me Ode Osbourne for the upset here.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Rob Zilla Robert Valentin going one-on-one with the Punisher. Torrez Jr. Valentin, 10-4 overall, fighting out of Switzerland, hailing from Switzerland, 30 years old. Finney, the Punisher, perfect. 10-0, fighting out of Macon, Georgia, 26 years old. Very weird fight. I mean, I'll start on the Finney side. The first guy to ever win the Contender Series 3 times. Listen, I'll get the physical shit out the way first. The guy, for me, he's built like a jail dude, where he's a brolic, solid body, but the longest fucking arms known to man. When you see him swing, the technique ain't that crazy, but I mean, I think he's used to fighting guys that are going to be taller than him. He's a stout guy, throws overhands, accurate, but just funny to watch. Then we got Robzilla. You might remember him from the
Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter, where I thought he was probably looking like the favorite. He's an unorthodox guy, well-balanced guy. Kind of an interesting matchup here because I think they are trying to set up Finney here for a win. Rob's last fight was against Loader, who was also another wrestler.
Loader's a savage though, man.
Loader definitely had size in terms of like, you know, length and just like overall build. So Finney's also got size, but in a different way, because again, he's a what's the word I'm looking for? He's like a
Coke machine with legs.
Yeah, he's like a Coke machine with legs, but like a mini Coke machine.
Yeah, he's like the one that you put under the desk at your office.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if he has better striking than Loader. He might have better wrestling than Loader, but I think he,
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe not. He's definitely got more physicality than Loader.
Yes.
And Finney, to his credit, very good cardio, hits like a fucking truck, crazy ground and pound, and he's able to use his dimensions to his advantage because he doesn't really have a neck, so he's gonna be kind of hard to choke. And at the same time, his arms are just so long, they deceivingly just wrap around you.
Pause on all that.
Pause on everyone, every single like note of that. But and Valentin, awkward guy, can scramble. Probably got him beat on the feet, but doesn't have that great takedown defense. This one's a funny one to me. Conventional wisdom says lean the wrestler. I'll probably pick Finney here for the win, but this fight is going to look so fucking weird in terms of just these two guys facing off, and in terms of just stylistically, I think it's just an odd fight, a curiously odd fight that I'm interested in from a viewing perspective, but I don't know how I'd bet it. But give me the Punisher here to roll Valentin, only because, like, I mean, you've seen Loader run him over. Finney just physically is just more athletic and more gifted, I guess, than Loader.
I tell you what, I might be rolling with Victory of Valhalla here. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I might be rolling with him as a dog shot is because he's sitting at plus 200, and I don't think Finney is as technical as Ryan Loader.
Finney's the prototypical wrestler, the wrestler. What do you call that? The
stuffed wrestler with the overhand.
Yeah, the boxer wrestler, but without the boxing. But again, you'll see, like, he has to swing overhands by default because he's so small for the division.
He's built like a tree stump.
It's weird.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like
he's not going to struggle like Deron Wynn did, because Deron Wynn was small, but also had no kind of reach. Like, Finney's arms are long enough to box with God. Like, he got reach for days for the way he's built. Pause.
Yeah, I just feel like Robert can scramble. I feel like Finney is the rightful favorite here, but Robert can scramble. And the only reason he didn't beat Ryan in some of those scrambles because Ryan's just so much more of a superior wrestler / grappler. Ryan's working with Uriah Faber to create the MMA / wrestling program in college that you can get accredited for, which says a lot about him and how good he is, because he's a stud on an NCAA level as well. He's just a little older, but Robert, if he took anything from that fight, this is a guy that he can keep on the outside and land damage on him on the way in. I for a guy that I had trouble finishing his first Contender Series fight, for a guy that I think only has one way to kind of win, which is kind of wrestle him down or catch him two ways, or catch him with a lucky overhand. I just feel like Robert's got the better skills here. Finney is not like the kind of grappler Loader is. He's good, but he's not. He's just physical. He's very physical. So, and if he gets on top of you, it's going to be a problem too. That's why I could see why people are going to pick Finney in this fight. But for some reason, I just feel like Valentin's probably going to figure him out and land a big shot at him. Because I think if Valentin hits him, he hits fucking hard too. So someone can get served on the feet here. And I think Valentin's got the better striking technique. And I think he scrambles better than Finney a little bit. That's not by much, but just a little bit. But
yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see the scrambling.
It's a good fight.
Sure.
I don't know if it's a good fight to bet on. I think it's a good fight to watch. Because I think both these guys have a lot of questions to answer. So give me Valentin for the upset here, but man, not with a high degree of confidence. So I'll leave it at that.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have GM3 Gerald Meerschaert going one-on-one with Brad Tavares. Meerschaert, 37-18, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 37 years old. Tavares, 20-10 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, also 37 years old. Interesting matchup because I feel like a couple of years ago, I'd probably be leaning heavily towards the Brad Tavares side, but GM3, as much as I try to fade this guy sometimes, I mean, he just finds ways to win, and not just find ways to win, but he finds ways to get his submission game going. I think Meerschaert on the feet has been improving. Tavares, I'd give him the edge in terms of like power, but he's a little on the low volume side, a little bit on the, his pacing is slow.
His IQ is not there, man.
On paper, Brad Tavares got what it takes to just, you know, beat a lot of people in the UFC, but again, Meerschaert is just like fine wine. It's hard to deny. I mean,
second, third round submission.
I think it's always an autoplay for GM3, and to be honest, I think he's going to be the first guy to sub Tavares.
Wow, yeah. That's a strong statement.
I'm gonna put the nuts on the table. Give me GM3 here for the win, and I think he's gonna be the first guy to sub Tavares. It's unfortunate because I think Tavares is a good fighter, but man, a couple years ago I would have picked him, but I don't know. Just give me GM3. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm with you with GM3 here. I feel like his sub is gonna be plus 300 plus. His round 2 and 3 sub are gonna be like plus 1,000 plus, and I feel like Brad Tavares, he has some of the best takedown defense in the UFC, but he has been slowing down over the last couple of years. The other thing is too, like, he doesn't finish his cereal in the morning. He had Chris Weidman on one leg for most of the fight and just let him get to decision. All his fights he lets get to decision. So you're telling me you're going to give me GM3 against a guy who I know probably isn't going to finish him? It's the same reason I beat Ryan Spann against Waldo or Costa or Cortez, which I was wrong, but Waldo doesn't really finish people in the UFC level. And of course, Ryan figured out a way to give it to him, which is hilarious.
Now, does Brad do the same thing here? I don't think so. I'm with you. I think Meerschaert's stand-up is more than adequate. I dare to say maybe a little underrated.
I agree, because he was putting mitts on Petrosky. He was putting mitts on the Ritter, and took down the Ritter, and the Ritter's humongous for 85. Pause. You know, not that the Ritter probably didn't welcome it because he wanted the grappling exchanges, but man, if we're being real, it's like Brad Tavares doesn't present those submission threats. And I feel like if they get into an exchange, he's going to work to get back up as opposed to working for a submission, and that's just going to give GM3 whatever he needs. Plus, with the striking, he's going to be able to mix it in. And I think even if he could cage push him and somehow work to the back, even if he doesn't get him on all fours to the floor,
he doesn't need to.
Correct. He can either work for a head and arm on the stand-up or just work up his back and then strangle him from behind. Pause. For me, it's GM3 by sub as a dog play here, man. It's particularly because I'm not going to bet Brad at minus money, and I'm not going to bet Brad at it might be minus money for his decision, which is hilarious.
And again, it just goes back to if I could trust Brad to walk him down and throw just any kind of decent volume, I think he's got him, because, you know, GM3 don't like the pressure. But if you allow GM3 to kind of like operate in his space, this fight is probably gonna be more interesting, and I can see a lot of cage pushing. I agree with you.
Correct. And by the way, Brad Tavares let a one-legged Chris Weidman walk him down. After that fight, like, there's some fights you watch with certain fighters and you know, like, they're like a permo fade, unless it's like clear as day that they could probably win. This is not clear as day he's probably going to win. So for me, it's like you gotta play the dog here. Brad Tavares at minus money is a big no-no at any level of his career. He's just not a good bet, you know, because it's just what it is. Give me GM3 here for the sub.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have the African Savage Kennedy Nzechukwu going one-on-one with Baris Martin Boudet. Nzechukwu, 14-5 overall, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, but repping Nigeria, 32 years old. Boudet is 14-2 overall, fighting out of Slovakia, repping the Slovak Republic, 33 years old. From a talent standpoint and on paper, I mean, Kennedy's new venture into heavyweight, so far so good for him. He's definitely the more talented guy here. He's definitely got more tools. He's got, you know, more equipment to kind of, you know, Pause.
God, so
To handle, I didn't think he was terrible at lightweight, but I mean, I could see him having a lot more success
at heavyweight.
At heavyweight because he's got the striking. He can go to levels. Doesn't really grapple as much, but he does have the grappling acumen. He has been working on it. That being said, I mean, Martin Buday, I mean, he's a heavyweight, right? He's gonna try to, walk Kennedy down. He probably hits harder.
That's questionable.
Maybe debatable.
It's questionable.
I'll pull back on that one. But I do see Buday pushing him against the cage. I see a lot of cage pushing in this one. And, I can see Buday trying to grind him out, maybe even trying to take Kennedy down. I haven't seen anybody since, I think, Kudalaba take Kennedy down, which is a bit of a question, and not a question, a bit of a red flag in itself because, I mean, you're fighting at heavyweight. You're getting taken down by light heavyweights.
And a small light heavyweight at that.
A smaller light heavyweight at that, exactly. But give me Kennedy here. I think I can't tell you if it's gonna go to distance or if it gets finished. But I think Kennedy, again, one of these guys who has potential. He has the talent. He should get it done. And hopefully I don't get fucking Ryan spanned here. Give me Ngannou for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you on Ngannou here. And I'm with you on Ngannou for the simple fact that Buday doesn't finish his cereal. 265 pounds. Doesn't eat vegetables. Doesn't eat cereal. Doesn't finish the carne on la mesa. You know what I'm saying? It's... When you give someone like Kennedy space to operate, he can find openings for the subs and for the knockout. Especially Buday, he might hit hard, but probably nothing that Kennedy hasn't seen. And I, like Ryan Spann, I wonder if Kennedy was really depleting his body to get down to light heavyweight, because I think Kennedy walks around like at 240.
I mean, he's a big dude.
He's a big fucking dude. Ryan Spann was 240 2 weeks ago. And the difference is that Ryan Spann was at dog money. Kennedy's at favorite money. So people are banking on the fact that this fight's gonna get extended and Kennedy's gonna have opportunities to either land damage and win rounds or stop him.
Yeah, and Buday's not the most fucking dynamic heavyweight either. I mean, he's got decent striking, but a little on the low volume side. He will push you against the cage. He will try to grind you out. It's a decent step up here for Kennedy.
There's a good chance Kennedy might commit a 187 on this boy's ass. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Hey yo,
it's just real. There might be a big pack 'em up here. I get why there's a little bit of because of Kennedy, and sometimes Kennedy makes like low fight IQ plays. It's hard for me to bet him at minus money, but you best believe if his sub or his knockout or just like whatever I can get on this dude at plus money, like his ICG in general is at plus money, I'm playing it. Because this is a guy that he should fuck up. I'm just gonna be real with you. Like Buday, baby T-Rex arms, not fast, not overly athletic. The guy was nearly 400 pounds at one point, was a video gamer, decided to commit to MMA, and now he's a top 10 heavyweight. Well, not top 10, top 15 out of the top 15-ish heavyweight. Kennedy Ngannou, I feel like, has top 10 heavyweight upside. So give me Kennedy Ngannou here to get the job done, probably ITD.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Are You Not Entertained? Cortavius Romanus. I think that's how you say his name. I apologize. Going one-on-one with Chang Ho Lee. Cortavius, which surprisingly is probably the easier way. I don't know. I just can't say the guy's last name. 9-3 overall. Fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 31 years old. Chang Ho Lee is 10-1 overall. Fighting out of South Korea, repping South Korea, 30 years old. I'm not really looking forward to this fight in particular. I mean, they have it here currently constituted as like the featured bout. I'm assuming people are going to be leaning Cortavius here because he's the American wrestler. I mean, listen, both these guys kind of do the same thing. They both want to wrestle. They both have low volume output, and they're both, I mean, in my opinion, just lacking, just mid. I think I'm going to lean the Chang Ho Lee side. Only reason I'm leaning Lee is because he's got the bigger dimensions. I think he's probably got the better cardio here. And in a grappling match, I kind of want to lean the guy with the better cardio. Cortavius has definitely got the power, but again, a little gun shy. Are You Entertained is his nickname. I wasn't really that entertained in his last fight against Bolanos, who is a kickboxer with no takedown defense, and to his credit, has developed more takedown defense. But Cortavius was supposed to run through that guy. Bolanos, historically not a guy who does well against grapplers. That fight went to decision. This fight is probably also going to decision. Cortavius probably should edge this one out just based on
pure wrestling ability.
Not just pure wrestling ability, but I feel like he's gonna throw more strikes and probably hits harder, but I can see him getting tired again. and Lee, I like, always bet on cardio, I guess. I don't feel good about this one. Give me Lee for the win. Split decision. It could go either way. I don't think this is a very good feature bout.
Yeah, as indecisive as you sound, this is as indecisive as I feel. I'm not going to add much onto that. I'm going to lean Lee for the same reasons you did. I'm not confident in this fight. This is a fight I have no interest in betting the dog. Cortavius being the one at the dog level right now in terms of the money line. I just don't know how this fight's going to look.
It's tough because generally, when it comes to wrestling, I'll generally lean American wrestling over,
any other wrestling.
Any other wrestling outside of Russian wrestling.
Yeah.
It was just a big letdown for Cortavius. Maybe it was just the UFC jitters. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He should be the favorite here, but I don't know.
It's honestly, if you want to play, dog or pass. But it's not a fight that I feel comfortable telling you guys as the viewers that you should feel comfortable betting. It's the overs are probably live in this fight. I'll say that much. I don't know if any one of these boys is going to stop the other, but the finishing upside's on Cortavius. But he could get tired and get stopped too. So I don't know. Like this,
Lee's got that cardio, man.
When you have all these variables in a fight, it's a fight you probably should stay away from. That's the point we're trying to make on this podcast, right? So give me Cortavius as the dog play, a possible dog play, which I'm going to say that like because it's a dog or pass spot. I'm probably not going to play it. My brother's probably not going to play it.
Probably more pass than dog for sure.
But give me Lee as the lean. And that's the best way to say it, but probably staying off this fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Joanderson Brito going 1-on-1 with Pat Sabatini. Brito, 17-4-1, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Pat Sabatini, 19-5 overall, fighting out of Pennsylvania, 34 years old. I'm picking Brito. Not to disrespect Sabatini. And I'll give Sabatini this. I think if this fight hits the ground, it'll be more interesting than I think people want to give it credit for. I know Brito's very good on the ground. Sabatini is a bit of a wizard on the ground. And it's the combination of the wrestling and jiu-jitsu that he does. And he has all the capability of the world of taking Brito's back and maybe even clocking around. Maybe even subbing him. But on the feet, I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, Brito is a fucking savage. This man hits with monstrous intent. And Sabatini's chin is a wet paper bag.
Yes.
Just ready and primed to be torn apart. And even on the ground, again, I still probably lean... I'll lean Pat on the ground, but Brito's just more athletic in my opinion.
Way more physical.
Should get out of certain spots, especially like if Sabatini decides to, get a leg lock. The best offense for that and defense for that. I could see Brito just turning around and just socking him in the mouth.
And he has semi-stopped someone.
Yeah.
That was trying to leg lock him. And the UFC.
And I'll give Sabatini the IQ edge as well. I think he knows what he's getting into here, so he's going to try to kind of approach this with kid gloves and kind of chess match this. Man, Brito's just such a force. I got to lean Brito here. I won't be too surprised if this fight ends in sub either way, because I'll put a little respect on Sabatini's name in terms of the grappling wrestling, but in terms of a pick, I got to lean Brito.
I told you how I felt about this fight when I seen it announced.
Oh, immediately.
This is borderline fucked up, in my opinion. We picked Sabatini his last fight, and that was an easy play. The problem is he's going against a guy that is, in my opinion, as close to Diego Lopez as he's gonna get. And he beat Diego Lopez. So for me, I made a lot of money when I bet Diego last time against Pat. Joanderson is sitting at minus 200. Be prepared for me to make a play on him on that line and maybe even a max bet between 3 to 5 units on him. I feel that confident that he's going to fuck him up. I think this is a very tough fight for Sabatini because outside of the grappling, where is he safe? And if you want the real, even in the grappling, is he safe? I don't know where Pat's going to be safe in this fight. And he is the less durable guy. He's the smaller guy. He doesn't hit hard. If you're betting Pat, you got to bet by sub.
Yeah, you have to.
He's not knocking out Brito. He's not going to decision Brito. I don't see this fight going all the way. For me, this is as close to the Diego Lopez play as fight as I can remember for Pat. Diego was sitting at -130 against Pat. And that I felt like that was stealing money. So for me, even Brito at -200, I feel like it's stealing money. That's just where I'm at with it in terms of how the line should be lined. Give me Brito inside the distance. I think he commit to 187 on Pat Sabatini's ass.
Hey, yo.
That's what I think's going to happen.
They would have been packing them up.
Next fight on the card, and has currently constituted the main event of the evening. At featherweight, we have Josh Emmett going one-on-one with Lerone Murphy. Emmett, 19-4 overall, fighting out of Sacramento, California, 40 years old. The Miracle Murphy, 15-0 and 1. So is he, I guess that's still perfect, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Fighting out of Manchester, England, 33 years old. The best fight on the card, the most interesting fight on this card.
For a lot of reasons.
For a plethora of reasons. I'm going to be leaning Murphy here, and it's only because of the grappling. I think he's going to be able to get in on Josh Emmett and, get enough control time, rack up enough control time, and, just top time, pause. Beat him up, grind him out. And when it comes to the stand-up, that's where it's going to get a little scary because Emmett is going to be the harder puncher of the two guys. I think probably by a long shot. I mean, historically good chin. I think he's more than live if this fight stays on the feet. I do worry about his cardio. I do worry about if he starts getting work to the body.
And his age, too.
He is getting a little older. Not the easiest fight for Lerone, but definitely the right step in the right direction for him. I think it is a winnable fight for both men. But for Lerone in particular, if he just sticks to the game plan of take this man down and take away his best weapons, which is his left and his right. So give me Lerone Murphy here, probably by decision, in a fight that is probably going to have a couple of ups, a couple of downs, a couple of twists, a couple of turns, probably fight of the night.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Lerone is very good at distance management. He's going to know how to be all the way in and all the way out. Pause. He might have a little bit of a harder time wrestling Josh than most people think because Josh can wrestle. At the same time, too, Lerone does get hit in all his fights. This is a spot where if that knockout prop for Josh Emmett sitting at +300, +350, it's worth a sprinkle. Because there's a lot of guys that were beating Josh Emmett until they weren't. And he just sparked them with one shot. And he has legit one-punch knockout power. Not like hit you, hurt you. No. Hit you, send you to the shadow realm. You activated my trap card. You're done for the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the last thing to go on most fighters is power.
Yeah.
And that's Josh Emmett is no exception. My man has literal hammers.
The biggest puncher. You want the real? I think he's a bigger puncher than Topuria because you never seen Topuria put someone out like that. Jai Herbert, yeah, they're about equal. I'll say it that way. Topuria has a better delivery system in terms of getting his punches to the target. But Josh, in terms of power, he's right there. Like if he touches you, it's fucking curtains, man. Yeah. Lerone does get hit, so I'm going to lean Lerone, but not with a high degree of confidence. Don't know how I want to play this fight. I think Lerone should win this by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Josh because no one historically finishes Josh. Jair got him in a sub. Topuria couldn't get him out of there after putting the beats on him for 5 rounds. No one else has even really come close to stopping him. Oh, Jeremy Stephens. But Jeremy Stephens, another huge puncher for the division, right? So I just don't, Lerone doesn't have that kind of power. Lerone doesn't have a verse submission game. And Lerone doesn't have to worry about the wrestling here because Josh never wrestles. In terms of him entering the pocket sometimes, he does get hit. And if Josh can time him over the course of 5 rounds, he can put his lights out.
It's going to be some scary moments. It's not like Lerone hasn't hit the canvas.
He's been put on his butt a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yes. So give me Lerone Murphy by decision, but definitely give me Josh Emmett's knockout as a possible play here as well.
And moving right along from UFC to the PFL, we're just going to be covering the main card portion of the PFL, and we're going to kick it off with the main card opener. Jeremy Kennedy, JBC going one-on-one with Moved Kabuliev. Killer. Way easier nickname than name. Kennedy, 19-5 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, but repping Canada, 32 years old. Kabuliev, 21-0-1. So perfect. Fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 34 years old. Probably the widest line of the 4 fights. Probably justifiably so. It's in the nickname. Kabuliev, bit of a savage. He will go straight to the wrestling. Sticks on that ass like stank on shit. Like white on rice. It's going to be relentless. It's going to be often. He's got good cardio. Athletically powerful, physical. I can see him just taking Kennedy down repeatedly, frustrating Kennedy. And that, of course, you know, will open up his striking. Cool. How do you say this fucking guy's name?
Killer.
Movid's striking is not that impressive, but
Suspect.
not suspect. It's
Serviceable.
it's serviceable.
That's a good way to say it.
It's
Yeah.
serviceable. Kennedy, I think on the feet is a better striker. I just don't think he has the takedown defense to stop Movid from doing whatever he wants to do with him on the ground. So long story short, just give me Movid here. I say third round decision. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. But you know, unplayable obviously on the money line.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jeremy here. I feel like he fights everyone that's tough. He doesn't duck anybody. He seems like a guy that's extremely committed to the game. I just think he's super overmatched here against a guy that's going to be relentlessly walking forward and trying to take him down. Kennedy's takedown defense is not that great. And the thing is, it's not only going to be the wrestling defense here. Even if he did have the wrestling defense, I don't know if he has the physicality to deal with this guy. This guy moves a lot like Khabib in terms of how he relentlessly goes after the body lock and works off the body lock to use his foot sweeps and then pick up and throw you back down and mat return you when you get back up. This is a tough fight for Kennedy, man. And I think the line is justified. So give me Killer here to win this fight. So probably third round decision.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Prince Magomed Umalatov going one-on-one with Storm Logan Storley. Umalatov is 17-1. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, but repping Russia, 33 years old. Storley, 16-3 overall. Fighting out of Webster, South Dakota. I said it with a Dakotan accent. 32 years old. Another fight where, I mean, listen, Storley, decorated wrestler. I give it to him. He's a good wrestler. A lot of forward pressure, scrambles decently, and you know, when you put him in the right position, will get his ground and pound off. He's got more finishes than decisions, but you know, as any wrestler, you have to expect a decision sometimes because you know it's always control over anything else, right?
Correct.
Going against the guy in Umalatov here, who I just think is just better than him everywhere.
Bigger than him too.
Bigger than him, probably stronger than him. It's got better striking, better wrestling, better control.
Better submission grappler too.
Better submission grappler. I'm just glazing Umalatov here. Give me Umalatov for the win. Storley's really got to step up here. I'm not saying it ain't out the realm of possibility.
We do think the line is a little wide for this fight. So, you know, it's something that we might be considering making a dog play on closer to fight time. So
only because like Storley, like even though he's a little outmatched in the striking department, I think he could probably put something together. Again, on the ground, it'll be a scrambling fest until it's not. Until you know, it's one of those things where it's like I prefer American wrestling until it meets the Russian wrestling, and just give me the Russian wrestler here to do what he's got to do. I think it's going to be Umalatov, probably by decision.
yeah, and Umalatov has only lost to Musayev, who I've been saying, I think I've said on this podcast before, I think you can make a strong argument he's the best welterweight on the planet right now.
That guy's a monster.
He's a fucking monster. And believe it or not, Umalatov showed me a lot of his grappling and wrestling technique in that fight. Because, yeah, he did lose position, but Musayev is just a fucking monster, man. But he was able to get Musayev in certain positions, and Musayev would have to respond with a switch or breaking the hands off the body lock. And Umalatov also showed me that he can get up well too when there's a good wrestler on top of him. He showed me a lot in his only loss. And just based on what I saw, I feel like I have to lead him against Storley here because the problem with Storley is if he can't get the wrestling going, he's probably going to lose. It's going to be a tough fucking fight for him. Musayev doesn't need to get the wrestling going to win. He can knock you the fuck out too, which he winded up doing to Umalatov in the third round, if I'm correct. For me, Storley doesn't present those threats, but if Storley's not getting the wrestling going, it's going to be a long fucking night for him. So I'm going to lean Umalatov for those reasons, but I do think the line's a little crazy. If it gets up to like plus 300, I think plus 250 right now is playable. It gives me a little shiver down my spine, especially since there can be a lot of grappling exchanges where Logan can probably win top control and cage control position against him and or steal a round or two here. Give me Umalatov, possible dog play on Storley as the fight gets closer.
Next fight on the card, and currently the co-main event of the evening, we have Jesus Pinedo El Mudo going one-on-one with the kid, Adam Borix. Pinedo, 23-6-1, fighting out of Peru, hailing from Peru, 28 years old. Borix, 19-2 overall, fighting out of Florida, but repping Hungary, 31 years old. I know PFL has been serving up a lot of wrestler after wrestler after wrestler type fights, but this one's going to be a striker's delight, at least, on paper. And, I'm pretty sure my brother can concur here.
Probably the best fight in the card, low-key.
It's going to be the most entertaining fight on the card, I think, for sure. I'm probably going to be leaning Pinedo here. Both technical strikers. I think probably Borix is probably the more technical of the two guys. Pinedo, though, he's Peruvian, so, +5 durability. And surprisingly for a Peruvian, can kick at all levels as well. Probably the more visceral and vicious striker of the two guys. And I also think he's got a bit of the grappling upside. If this fight was ever to get to the ground, I do favor Pinedo there to, do what he's got to do, at least on top. On the bottom, he's a bit dog shit, but I don't know if Borix wants to necessarily take him down to the ground unless he's hurt. Give me Pinedo here for the win. I think it's going to be a close fight. Does it go to distance? Who knows? I don't know. But I like Pinedo here for the win.
Yeah, I feel like when it's this close on the feet, I'm going to lean the guy with bigger power and the guy with finishing upside. I think he has better wins on his resume too. To be frank, Borich is no joke. Borich probably has the slight wrestling edge here too, which is fucking crazy. But Pinedo did show me decent takedown and get up defense against Bubba Jenkins, who is a stud in this division. And he was able to weather him and stop him late, I think, in the second round. So I'm just going to lean the guy who has bigger power here. It's nothing against Borich. I think this is a stylistic delight. I think it's going to be probably the best fight in the card. But if you're asking me, I feel like Borich, he kind of will allow things to cruise to a decision where Pinedo won't fuck around. The only thing that scares me about Pinedo is this is his first fight in a year and a half, almost 2 years. He won the money, and I think he went on a fucking tour in fucking Peru. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I mean, shit. I mean, motivation might be a little scary here.
It's a little scary. So I want to see how the line shakes out for this fight because I don't think we've gotten it dropped yet. If it's wide, I don't think Borich is a bad play here. But if you're asking me, I think Pinedo is the goods. And the tear he went on to win that $1 million was amazing. Bubba Jenkins, Lockney, and he stopped Braga, and no one stops Braga. So give me Pinedo, and I'll say by knockout here.
Next fight on the card, and it's currently constituted the main event of the PFL evening, we have Jason Jackson, the ass-kicking machine, going one-on-one with Andre the Spartan Koreshkov. Jackson, 18-5 overall, fighting out of Miami, Florida, but repping Jamaica, 34 years old. Koreshkov, 28-5, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, also 34 years old. Another interesting fight, another fight where I'm a fan of Jason Jackson. I think he's probably the side here. He's probably the rightful favorite. I'm not sure what the line is because they still haven't released the lines yet, but
on just the main and co-main, which is weird. The other two fights, we got like the storyline already, which is bizarre.
Yeah, I'm sure, at the end of this podcast, they're probably up, but I'm going to assume Jason Jackson's going to be the favorite here. Jason does have the wrestling upside here, in my opinion. I do worry a bit because I feel like he doesn't go to it enough. When it comes to the striking, I do lean Koreshkov in terms of the technical side of things, but Jackson probably hits harder between the two individuals. I wouldn't say Koreshkov is completely counted out here because if this fight does stay on the feet for the majority of it, which I have a sneaking suspicion it might, he's more than live. It's not like Jason Jackson ain't been touched on the chin before. And if it's on the ground, I think it's definitely more in favor of Jackson. So just for that reason alone, give me Jackson for the win here. Does he finish Koreshkov?
It's possible.
Debatable. Don't really have a lean either way, but I gotta pick one. Give me Jackson.
Yeah, I'm a little more optimistic on the ass-kicking machine side here. Yes, Jason Jackson, the ass-kicking machine. Koreshkov is probably the best number 2, number 3 fight I've ever seen in my life. He's literally only lost to champions. He lost to Douglas Lima twice, Ben Askren once, Umatolov. The only person he's lost to that hasn't been a champion, and he's right on the precipice of it, to be frank. And then Amosov, who was a champion. This is a fight where I feel like history is going to repeat itself in terms of Jason Jackson probably using his wrestling at some point. He doesn't go to it, I agree with you, as much as I like him to, but as well, too, the last couple of fights he's had has been against wrestlers. So I guess he probably felt like he could exploit those guys on the feet. He did exploit Amosov on the feet. Big fucking upset. He gave away the last fight where he lost his belt, by the way. That fight, if he performed the way he did in the last 2 rounds, which I thought he was capable of doing for more than 2 rounds, he would have won that fight easily, in my opinion. For me, it's Jason Jackson's fight to lose. And if this line drops and it's anywhere in the minus 200 range, I think he might be worth a play on the money line straight, because I think he really has to fuck this up for him to lose. And I don't think he wants to lose 2 in a row. I don't. Give me Jason Jackson here, and I'll say ITD.
And that does it for the PFL portion of the podcast, at least for the main card. If you have any, question, comments, or concerns regarding the prelims, we definitely will be foraying into those fights in particular, and, possibly making some bets. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all and every social media platform for further details.
Absolutely.
But moving right along to the sweet science, we'll kick it off with Tszyu going 1-on-1 with Joey Spencer. The Soul Taker, Tszyu, 24-2, fighting out of Australia, repping Australia, 30 years old. The small town soldier, Joey Spencer, 19-1 overall, fighting out of Union City, California, 25 years old.
Yeah, so we'll jump right into this. I think this is just a scary fight for Tszyu. In terms of the narrative going in, not the actual fight itself. Tszyu has a lot of questions to answer because he just lost his last 2 fights, got stopped viciously, got his soul taken, ironically, in the last fight.
The Soul Taker got his soul taken.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was an ass whipping. And, how he responds to that is going to be very interesting. This fight, I feel like it's very winnable for him for a lot of reasons. Joey Spencer, not to take anything away from him, got stopped by Jesus Ramos. No shame in that, but try to gunfight with Jesus Ramos, which is not really his game. He's more of a slip and rip guy, likes to stay on his back foot, decent pop in his right hand, and very elusive and very good with his head movement. The problem with Joey Spencer is that he's low volume sometimes, kind of waits for the perfect shot, has a very sneaky uppercut, which I think he can exploit in this fight, but I don't think he throws enough volume and has enough punch in 1 or 2 shots to give Tszyu a ton of problems. The only question for me is does Tszyu return to proper form and stop him with body shots and pressure? And then how fast does he get it going? Because historically he is a slow starter. So do I bet him rounds 7 through 12, or do I bet this fight to go all the way? That's the toughest decision where I'm at with this fight, because I do feel like this is a fight that he should properly respond off of. Question is, does he stop him late? Or does this go all the way? Joey Spencer is defensively sound enough to push this fight to decision. With all that said, I feel like this is Tszyu's fight to lose. There was a fight that Joey Spencer had recently that they said was a split decision, and I thought he dog walked the dude. He ain't no scrub.
Ain't no easy fight for Tszyu.
No, and I give Tszyu a lot of credit because he's not ducking tough fights, man. He's just not doing that. This is a guy that definitely has a path to win. I just don't see it. Like he has a decent path, but it's a shaky path. Put it that way. Like it's a path where there's a boulder that might roll down on him. A path where a fucking mountain lion might come out and eat him. You know what I'm saying? So if he doesn't have a knife and good hands, he's going to be in some fucking trouble. And I feel like Tszyu can be the boulder and Tszyu can be the lion. With that said, this is Tszyu's fight to lose. This is a real show me fight for him. If he cannot get this done, his career is over. Give me Tszyu by late round stoppage and or possible decision.
Moving right along to another main event on another completely different side of the world, we have, and forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to be pronouncing both these guys' last names. I am going to this is a first name basis with these 2 gentlemen. Janibek going 1-on-1 with Anuel. I'll have the graphics here. Good luck with those last names. Janibek, perfect. 16-0, the champion, fighting out of Kazakhstan, 32 years old. Anuel, perfect. 14-0, the challenger, fighting out of the Republic of Congo, repping France, 29 years old.
Yeah, Anuel, double A,
Double A.
not double A, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this is going to be a tough fight for him. And the reason being is because Janibek is just a fucking machine, to be frank with you. Anuel hasn't fought anyone, not even close to this caliber. He hasn't really fought anyone relevant. His boxing skill is okay. Not the fastest hands, not the best counterpuncher, rather. I just feel like he hasn't fought anyone that's going to give him any resistance. Like he kind of walks a lot of dudes down and kind of does what he wants. Janibek is going to be able to cut angles, land when he wants to, hurt him when he wants to, in my opinion. Anuel just has not fought someone with this level of savvy and boxing technique. And by the way, not only with both of them combined, not even both of them separately, in my opinion. None of the guys he's beating have a Wikipedia page, and I feel like he's getting served up to the lions here a little bit. Give me Janibek by mid-round stoppage in this fight. I feel like this is going to be the first time Anwell's on his back foot, trying to figure out what his opponent's trying to do. And he's also going to be swinging and hitting a lot of fresh air and not finding Janibek in certain spots. Janibek, if he loses this fight, historical upset. I just don't see it. I think Janibek does what he wants in there and stops him in the mid-rounds.
Moving right along, another main event, another part of the world. We got heavyweights. And this heavyweight main event in particular, we have Joyce, the Juggernaut, going one-on-one with El Animal, Philip Hrgovic. Joyce 16-3, fighting out of England, rep in England, 39 years old. Hrgovic is 17-1 overall, fighting out of Croatia, rep in Croatia, 32 years old.
Yeah, this is Hrgovic's fight to lose. And let me preface that by saying that this fight is battle of the mid. I'm not very high on Hrgovic, especially after he lost to Dubois. And the way he lost to Dubois was bad. He lost to Big Bang Zhang as well. That was fucking blatant robbery that he won that fight. I'm only leaning him because I think he puts his punches better together. He has the better hand speed. He has way less damage. He's going to be a little taller. His punches are cleaner, and he has the better footwork. So it sounds kind of crazy, right, that I'm saying all this, and it's like, oh, I'm only leaning him. But this is a guy who has gotten chin checked. This is a guy who hasn't dealt with someone as big as Joyce, outside of Daniel Dubois and Zhang, that have, like, that will apply continuous pressure. Zhang and Dubois applied smart pressure. Joyce will apply continuous pressure until he breaks his opponents. The problem with Joyce, he does not put his punches together like Dubois. He does not put his punches together like Bang.
And he just does not get out the fucking way.
No. He's always there to be hit.
Yes.
And if you're asking me, this fight is it's Hrgovic's fight to lose. Hrgovic should be able to stop him. Joyce's invincibility went away after Bang banged on his ass twice.
Hey,
Pause.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, knocked his ass out bad. But did him bad. You know, in the hood, we say did him bad. Like, you know, and just exposed him. You know what I'm saying? Dominated and exposed him.
And exposed.
You know, in the great words of the great Jamal Hill, you know? I just feel like that it's, you know, if Joe can't get downhill on him, it's going to be a long night. But the problem is when you're getting dropped by like Derek Chisora and losing to Derek Chisora, who I think is beyond retirement at this point. He should be in a wheelchair at this point. That's how old he is relative to the sport, relative to how much damage he's taken in the sport. And you can't beat him. And he's not historically the biggest puncher later in his career against some of the more elite heavyweights, and you're getting dropped by that guy. Hrgovic should be able to hurt this motherfucker. I like the knockdowns in this fight, and I would say Hrgovic by knockout. That's how I play this fight, but not sure if I feel very comfortable playing this fight because these boys are both donks. Give me Hrgovic for the knockout and the knockdowns as the play.
And the last of the four main events, coming back to America, coming back to Las Vegas, Nevada, we have in his first main event, Richard Torrez Jr. going one-on-one with the Gladiator, Guido Vianello. Torrez, perfect, 12-0, fighting out of California, 25 years old. Vianello, 13-2-1, fighting out Italy, repping Italy, 30 years old.
Not only the best boxing fight of the weekend, but the most competitive. And it's also very interesting, like how this fight's going to look. I'm going to lean Richie Torrez just to tell you flat out for a couple of reasons, but I'll get into Vianello first just to give you a compelling case for why he is a live dog in this fight. Vianello, good boxing IQ, good footwork, very slick 1-2 down the middle, especially at heavyweight. He knows how to find your chin. Made us a lot of money in the fight that he had before his last. Did a great job picking that dude apart. Everyone was all over this dude like he was the next big heavyweight. But
which fight was that? Was that the fight where the guy just kept repeatedly spitting his mouthpiece out? Was that the fight before that?
No, that was the guy who was repeatedly spitting his mouthpiece out was the guy who's fighting Richie Torrez.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Oh, wait. And we're talking about Vianello here. You're right. Who did Vianello fight last time?
He fought Makhmudov.
Oh, that's right. There we go. Yep.
And the thing is, that fight was easy pickings because Makhmudov got exposed by Agate in Saudi Arabia. And I don't know how you could look at that fight from the deficiencies that he had and say, damn, he's going to beat a slick boxer like Vianello. Vianello picked him apart and stopped him. He lost his fight previous to that to F.A. Ajagba, but you could make a strong case that he won that fight. That's how close the fight was. I thought Guido won, if you're asking me. This is going to be a big step up for Richard Torrez This is the best fighter Richie Torrez has fought. This is a guy who's not going to go away, a guy who's not going to break, a guy who knows how to use his feet, and a guy who's not going to spit his mouthpiece out 20 times when he's getting his fucking ass whooped. Now, Richie Torrez has kind of like made a living feasting on some of the lower heavyweights, but the thing is, he's done what he's supposed to do with that level of competition while showing brilliant fighting IQ and boxing savvy. The other thing about this gentleman, he has a resting heart rate of 40, which is fucking insane. The doctors that analyzed him actually said that the only person that they ever saw that had a better resting heart rate than him was sitting at a 37, and it was a person who was doing the Tour de France. The point I'm trying to make is that Richie Torrez's cardio for a 230 pounder is fucking absurd. And if you see how he fights, he doesn't get tired. Continuous feinting, continuous in and out movement, knows how to place his shots, particularly for a heavyweight, knows how to angle when he's giving you offense. Guido is going to be able to match him in terms of angling off with him defensively and offensively. The only issue I have with Guido, he tends to gas a little bit. I would love to see how he looks coming into this fight. I just have a hard time believing he's going to be able to get his cardio up to a point that's going to keep up with Torrez. This is also a guy who I don't think has as many weapons as Torrez. Torrez will throw uppercuts, hooks, go to the body, go to the head, angle off, hit you with a straight to the body, jab to the body. Guido is really kind of just a 1-2 hook guy. And it's not to take anything away from him. For this fight, that might be all he needs, especially if he can keep Richie on the outside. The problem is I think he's going to have a hard time keeping Richie on the outside. Richie right now is sitting at like a -175 on some books. Once this podcast drops, we will probably be officially announcing that we're going to take that as a play. I think he's worth a 3.5 unit play here. For 2, at least, at minimum. And the reason being is because even if this fight's close, considering it's a top-ranked card, and considering Richie's work rate, I feel like this is Richie's fight to lose, believe it or not, as competitive as I think it may or may not be. The only one who can give a one-sided ass-whooping in this fight, in my opinion, is Richie. Guido has got to out-savvy a very savvy boxer, who I think probably hits harder than him in spurts. And I think out-volumes him as well. Give me Richie Torrez Jr., on the money line. Follow us on all social media platforms for how I think this fight's going to go, because every day I wake up and I have a different opinion. It could be by decision. It could be by knockout. But if you are a bettor who's leaning Guido, I'd wait till he gets up to +200 and then make a play there, because I do think that's where it gets a little disrespectful. This fight has the capability of being very close. The other thing I'm also looking at is split decision. To be honest, if guns to the head, that's a possibility. What I think is more favorable to happen is that Richie's probably going to win a unanimous decision and or stop him in the later rounds of this fight. Because I don't think Guido's seen anything like him before. And even though Richie has not fought anyone as good as Guido, there's a good possibility Richie's going to be able to figure him out based on what I'm watching from his movement and his in-ring analysis of how to approach fighters and take them out of their comfort zones to win points, minutes, and stop them. Give me Richie Torrez Jr. as just the winner straight out in this contest.
And that does it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode's combat coverage. We gave you some PFL, we gave you some UFC, of course, and of course we gave you some boxing, but you know, we're done with all that shit. My brother, take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying this visual portion of the podcast, hey, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. Tune in next week for episode 95. Big UFC on that week. The Diego Lopez Volkanovski card. Big fights. But enjoy these fights this weekend. Some of them are a little bit one-sided ass whoopings by our account, but some of them are going to be competitive and interesting and gauging where some of your favorite fighters are at in their careers at the current state that they're at.
Bars.
Love you guys. Holla at you guys. Keep the comments, subscribers, and all that stuff coming. We see you guys. You guys are helping us build our platform. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you next week. Peace.